Hello, Suns fans. This is Suns Latest. I am Rich Rubin, and sorry to say we have covered all the autographs on the lucky 1977 Suns basketball, which I carried around with me for an entire year, getting all the autographs of the team. I'm gonna find the ball from the previous year, from 1976, and that has at minimum 3 different players on that team, because that's the team that went to the finals against the Celtics and won, as far as I'm concerned. But that ball has 3 guys on it that I know that aren't this one: John Wetzel. Eventually a Suns assistant, and one time a head coach, a guy named Phil Lumpkin, NBA journeyman, and a kid named Pat Riley. We've all heard of him. All right, so let's get to it. Not the newest news, but it is the latest news for the NBA and the Suns. Regular season for the NBA kicks off Tuesday, October 22nd. Kicks off for the Suns the next night at home, 22nd, against the Sacramento Kings. Suns going to start the season at home. First road game, Friday, October 24th in Los Angeles, against the LA Clippers and Bradley Beal. That'll be at the Intuit Dome. I'm seeing if I can make that game. I will let you know if I go. I heard the Intuit Dome's a blast. I might want to sit where that wall is just to see what it's about. Kevin Durant returns to Phoenix with the Rockets on Monday, November 24th. Phoenix Arena, defending champs OKC Thunder in Phoenix, Sunday, January 4th for the first time. The Suns have only 9 nationally televised games. Yeah, that's kind of how it goes. 1 on ESPN. The rest are on NBC and or Peacock. Saturday, November 8th, Clippers on ESPN. The rest, NBC, Peacock. Tuesday, November 18th, Trailblazers. Monday, November 24th, against the Rockets in Phoenix. Monday, December 1st, at Lakers. Tuesday, February 3rd, at Trailblazers. Tuesday, March 3rd, at Kings. Monday, March 16th, at Celtics. Tuesday, March 24th, Nuggets at Suns. I'm going to try to make that game in Phoenix and take my dad to it. That's his birthday. Tuesday, April 7th, Rockets at Suns. So that's really the big news. We're just waiting for training camp. We're waiting for the preseason. I'll probably go over the assistant coaching staff one more time, and if there's any player news, of course I'll get you to that. But I wanted to talk about the Ainge Horry incident at Hammered in 1962, loyal Suns' latest follower and watcher, and thank you for your comments. Thank you for signing up. Last I checked, we're at 493 subscribers. We're 7 subscribers away from 500, and we've barely been doing this over a month. So thank you for your subscribing, and thank you for your comments, and you're making this a lot of fun. So Hammered in 1962 says, was Ainge an all-star with the Suns? He wasn't here very long. I never hear anybody mention that Danny Ainge played pretty good in the Suns uniform. He's kind of a forgotten son. He is, but Danny Ainge's impact when he was here as a player and a coach, you can't really overlook it. I don't think he makes the 15. He was an all-star once, but that's when he was with Boston. No major awards while with the Suns, but integral part of the 93 championship run. I mean, him and Marley bombing threes with dead-eye accuracy made it really difficult for defenses to guard our awesome 93 Suns team. So I can tell you this. In 1993, he threw the ball right at Rockets guard Mario Elie face so hard, Elie's neck snapped back. Remember, Danny Ainge, incredible athlete. He played 3 years for the Toronto Blue Jays. He could throw any ball, including a basketball, really hard with precision. Just ask Mario Elie. He was a 3-sport athlete. He was an All-American in all 3 sports in high school: football, baseball, and basketball. He's a wide receiver in football. And he could play any infield position, and he played 3 years for the Toronto Blue Jays in Major League Baseball. An incredible athlete, and you wouldn't know it to look at him, but incredible athlete. But because of that incident with Mario Elie when Robert Horry was still with the Rockets, there's a related story about when Ainge was Suns head coach, along with Robert Horry, and here's how Robert Horry tells the story. Suns versus Rockets, Suns up 3-1. We come back and win the series. During one game, Rockets are about to win. Ainge takes the ball out and throws it right at Mario Elie. Hits him in the face hard. A couple years later, I get traded along with Sam Cassell to the Suns. Sam and I are walking in the hall. We first got into Phoenix. Suns staff showing us the facilities. Danny Ainge comes up to me and says, I hit Mario in the face with the ball on purpose. Just walks right up to Horry and says that. Back to Horry. And I'm like, I already don't like you, dude. So now this animosity is starting to build up. So we're in Chicago, and we get beat by the Bulls by 40. Afterwards in the locker room, Ainge brings up the offense and says, Ainge brings up the offense. And I say, can I say something? We keep talking about our offense, but we got beat by 40. What about our defense? And Danny Ainge says, you're the worst defensive player on the team. And I said, whoa, dude. 100 steals, 100 blocks, 100 threes. First player to ever do that. So I'm playing over here with, God rest his soul, Wayman Tisdale, Danny Manning, and Wesley Person. And you're saying I'm the worst defensive player on the team? F you. I think Horry got it wrong saying Ainge was the assistant at the time. Pretty sure Ainge was head coach. So back to Robert Horry. Quote, so we traded away Michael Finley, who was my boy. We traded away AC Green and my dog, Sam Cassell, who I got traded with. Sam Cassell gets traded, and Ainge told me, we traded away those people to get you more playing time. So we go to Boston. I get a steal. I get a dunk. I had 3 great plays in a row, and all of a sudden he subs me for Danny Manning, and I say, dude, I'm playing good. He says, man, go sit your ass down at the end of the bench. I walked, then I think, what'd that mofo say? I got up, I said, what'd you effing say to me? And I threw the towel on his face before he could repeat himself and walked down to the end of the bench. After the game in the locker room, Suns backup center Joe Klein says to me, man, we don't do that here. I said, man, F your big-headed ass. Klein says something, and I said, what you want to effing do about it? So he jumps up. Then Mark Bryant and Chucky Brown, the other guys that Horry got traded with from Houston to Phoenix, those guys that had played the Suns during the Mario Elie game in the playoffs before, and the only thing that saved him was, and then back to Robert Horry, the only thing that saved me was, and I love this guy, God rest his soul, Paul Silas, legendary player and coach, who was an assistant with the Suns at the time. He said, calm down, Rob, let's go in the back and talk. We went back to Phoenix. They suspend me for 2 games. Then I get a call from Danny Ainge, and he says, quote, I hate to say this, I probably just won you some more championships. I say, what you mean by that? He says, we just traded you to the Lakers. And I was like, yes! And I hung up the phone. I didn't care who I was traded with. I didn't care who I was traded for. I got in my car, and I drove to L.A. the next day. So that's what went down with Robert Horry throwing the towel at Danny Ainge's face. I mean, look, that's one side of the story. I'm sure Danny Ainge has his side of the story, and I'm sure he's never going to talk about it because he hasn't said a word about it since it happened. Robert Horry was on some podcast, and I was watching. I said, I can't let that one slide. That one was pretty freaking good. If you find some stories from former Suns players or anybody that's related to the Suns or coaches that I've missed or something like that you want to hear, just let me know. Just hit me up in the comments, and we'll do it. Speaking of comments, Tony from Richmond. What would I do if the Suns started 0-20? They won't. But I'd mumble, wait till next year. I don't care if the Suns go 0-20 to start. Stay with Ott, at least for a year. You seem to be sold as well, Rich. Thank you, Tony from Richmond. I don't care. I don't care if they're 0-40. If they swap coaches out again, it's like why bother? You know, just admit that you can't figure it out. But it can't always be the coach. Okay? I think Bud was the wrong choice, but maybe he wasn't. Maybe there were so many things that we'll never know. But I don't think that's going to happen with the Suns, and I think Coach Ott needs to be given at minimum 3 years. At minimum 3 years to see what the Suns can be, because I think this guy's onto something. Thank you for that. That's a really good thing to bring up. Loyal Suns latest viewer at Andrew W. Ruiz. Looking at our first 10 games, what do you predict our record will be? I'm hoping for a hot 7-3 start. Notable matchups will be against the Kings, Nuggets, Warriors, Grizzlies, and 3 Clipper games. I know we always play the Clippers a lot early in the season. I think we can beat the Kings, and I believe we can go 2-1 against the Flippers. I could go either way against the Grizzlies and Golden State. I'm excited for the season to start, and I feel good about Coach Ott. Yeah, that's a lot of good observations. I think we at least go 5-5, and I'm just being pragmatic because I don't know, and I don't want to be the guy that says, "Oh no, we're going to kill everybody." I think we can beat the Kings. For some reason, we're good against the Nuggets, no matter what our record says. So I don't think we'll beat them. I mean, if I was a betting man, no, probably not. But I don't know. Suns always got a chance against the Nuggets. Suns always have a chance against the Warriors. We seem to play those 2 teams well. Grizzlies seem to have our number, but I don't know how good the Grizzlies are. Ja Morant is not Ja Morant anymore. The Grizzlies are, I think even right now we match up well with them. Clippers, as I've said it many times, Clippers are going to be good in the regular season. They're going to flame out in the playoffs. They're going to kill a couple of Giants. You believe we can go 2-1 against the Clippers early in the season? I'm gonna have to just say I really don't know. I don't know what the Clippers are going to be either. But I do feel good about Coach Ott. I think I've mentioned that a few times. From at Mr. Nasty One. This is a new comment from a new commenter. So thank you for watching Suns Latest. I appreciate this. From at Mr. Nasty One. I think Booker needs Green for the double teams that he attracts. That's what Chris Paul did for Booker. But Chris Paul was really good at seeing the double team coming and making his mid-range. And that's why that was such a lethal backcourt. What are they going to do? Double team both of them? Nope. That's cool. If they double team Book, they're going to have a handful with Green. That's the way I look at it. Let them be C.J. McCollum and DeMar Rosen. Okay, fine, whatever. I don't think they're on the same team, but I do like the idea. Yeah, that's the beauty you get with two shooting guards who can, at least one of them, like Booker, can facilitate. If Green buys into facilitating 50% of the time, I really do believe Coach Ott is going to get the most out of these guys, and they're going to be a bitch of a backcourt to guard. Interesting observation from at MIAO Food Now. I would ship Devin Booker out to Sacramento or Chicago and get off his contract. Then get a point guard to play next to Jalen Green. His name isn't Jaden. Green has much more potential than Booker. Booker is a top 10 scorer and completely in his prime. And who are we getting from him from Sacramento? I don't want anybody from Sacramento. Who are we getting from Chicago? I'm not trading Booker for Giddey as much as I like Giddey. Jalen Green isn't nearly as battle tested as Booker. I mean, he's got a lot of potential, but Booker's right there. You don't trade a superstar for something. You trade him for something else. You trade him for something good. Nah, I don't know about that. If you don't like the contract, that's understandable, but they just signed him to that giant extension. He's not going anywhere. All right, more comments about the 15. Mark Franklin, it's hard to pick my favorites. Well, then just pick 5. pick. It's very easy to pick 5 very good Suns of all time. I'm not making fun of you. I'm sorry. If that was condescending, I apologize. Just pick 5 and let me know what you think. All right, I'm tallying your comments for the 15. Here's the guys that I'm getting the most mentions: Booker, Barkley, KD, and Nash, and they're already on the list. So we have 5 already on the list. So now we're just looking at 10. So here's the guys that are getting the most love from your comments: KJ, Mari Stoudemire, Chris Paul, Walter Davis, Westfall, Marion, Sean Marion, Connie Hawkins, Jason Kidd, Dan Marley, Tom Chambers, and Alvin Adams. So out of all these guys, it is the, let's see, it's KJ, Stoudemire, Chris Paul, Walter Davis, and Marion are still getting the most love. Right now, I got Devin Booker, Charles Barkley, Kevin Durant, Steve Nash. KJ already up there. And the most mentions are Stoudemire, Chris Paul, and Walter Davis. Now remember, we're doing the top 15, just the top 15. We're going to rank them later, and this is not by position. Amari Stoudemire is getting a ton of mentions, so he is going to be, according to you guys, number 6 on the 15. So now we have Booker, Barkley, Durant, Nash, KJ, and now Amari Stoudemire. That is 6. We've gone over the criteria for how you make this. You at least have to have been an All-Star once or win a major award, or that's at least that's the bottom criteria. So even though Jeff Hornacek was only a one-time All-Star for the Suns, he is eligible to make the 15. And then after that, we can just argue, which is what we're supposed to do to make sure that the list is right. I think that is it. Oh, just something that I just noticed. Dan Marley was a 2-time All-NBA defensive team player, and I didn't know that. I knew that he made it once. I completely forgot about that. So if that ups his value to us, that's great. So Stoudemire is number 6. So can you do the math? We got 9 more to go. All right, 9 more for the 15. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for watching Suns Latest. Subscribe if you like. Don't subscribe if you don't want to. Keep letting me know what you think. If you find out some news that I'm not covering, let me know. I'm Rich Rubin. Thank you for watching Suns Latest. We'll do this again.